Hi, I just wanted to share some thought play with you and about the question about why things matter. There's things in everybody's life which do matter and things which really don't matter at all. And I was pondering about this thing for a really long time. Just about those three words, especially the last one, why things matter. Uh, Many years ago, probably more than 20, I guess, already, I really tried to dive into Einstein's relativity theory stuff, and I somehow couldn't find any comfort in that, or didn't satisfy in any way. I don't know why. And I was reading this Brian Greene book about the halfway through the elegant universe. And this didn't make sense at all. And lately, I stumbled upon or into the electric universe. And somehow I figured out that this is what I kind of was searching for in order to find out how deep the rabbit hole goes, which I interpret as a thing is like finding the truth. This is the whole point about finding the rabbit hole in the first place. So, why things matter? We talked now already about Einstein, and I wanted to show you a little clip. If I still have it somewhere. Probably not. Wait a minute. Actually, I put pause and I will check if I have it. If I don't, we have to make something else. Yeah, I found it. This guy, his name is Wallace Thornhill, I guess. Uh, this is someone you really should lend an ear or two, especially what's between those two things. I made a loop of this one sentence he said. I will put a link down below of the whole speech he made about that. And let's just have a listen to what he has to say. It's about 4 times in a row. One sentence. Listen.
It is the sum of all of the aligned subatomic dipoles that produces the profoundly weak force of gravity. It is the sum of all of the aligned subatomic dipoles that produces the profoundly weak force of gravity. So, it is the sum of all of the aligned subatomic dipoles that produces the profoundly weak force of gravity. It is the sum of all of the aligned subatomic dipoles that produces the profoundly weak force of gravity.
Okay. It's the sum of all the aligned forces which produces the gravity. So back to the question. What we had in the first place. Why things matter. Let's watch some picture in the meanwhile. I thought that if we get some information, if it triggers this kind of emotion, which is probably on the negative scale, not so suitable or pleasant or even really sad, it makes you really sad or you get really angry or whatsoever. There is, in a way, a much deeper and more profound and uncontrollable reaction to this kind of information what you get from the outside world. So, if a human, or basically anything alive, produces its own energy in order to stay alive, through the fact that it produces its own energy, it contains, or it produces also through that, an electric magnetic field around itself, which is called, for example, the aura. So, and the aura thing for me is also really interesting, like talking about the electric universe. We're talking about electromagnetics. We talk about conductivity of different materials. We talk about plasma. So, the funny thing is, one really important material in the universe is iron. For some reason. It seems to be really important. With Earth magnetic fields and all this magnetic anomalies we have across the Earth, it's basically just because there is some different kind of material, probably not just on the surface. I think it penetrates really deep into the Earth, probably not to the core, probably it will also connect to the core. I don't know. Nobody knows, I guess. But anyway, there is more metals, more iron, more conductivity. It will react more easily to whatever electric fields or magnetic fields because it contains iron. Our blood is red because it has a high content of iron. So there is this kind of iron circuit in ourselves, in the veins, our blood, which goes everywhere, also in the brain. And it tends to react quite easily to whatever magnetics or electrics, this iron. So, we create our own electric field around us, the aura, through being alive. I don't know how much the blood flow in a human increases this kind of electromagnetic field around because there's this kind of how to say it in English? Yeah, because the blood veins. There's no space in, like, it's under pressure. The whole system is under pressure. The blood system is under pressure. If you cut your finger, the blood will flow out because it's under pressure. So, which means traction, friction. Yes, Friction is the word I was searching. Because there is friction in the blood all the time because it's flowing. So does this somehow increase the electromagnetic field around each and every one? I don't know. Would be interesting to know that. But why things matter? We just heard Wallace Thornhill explaining how gravity works. Actually, I should show you one other picture. That's one of his slides, which you can see then in the video. What causes gravity? Atomic electrostatic dipoles are formed by most atoms inside the Earth, with the inner pole positive and the outer pole negative. The electric field produced within the atom distorts the subatomic particles to also form infinitesimal electric dipoles. It is the sum of all the aligned subatomic dipoles that produces the profoundly weak force of gravity. So, if you watch that picture, you can see the nucleus gets pulled down by gravity. It's not in the center. So if someone says to you, or you get, let's say more objective, if you get this kind of information which matters, could it somehow be that because you get this kind of reaction to it, thoughts or dreams or whatever, they're basically electromagnetic impulses interpreted by your mind. They are interpreted based on what you know, what you experienced, how many times you were thinking about something. Did you experience one thing 2 times or many times or whatever? It's always filtered through something. Everyone owns own perception of reality on the conscious and the unconscious level. One root of fear is not knowing, because you don't know. The reptilian brain says to you, if you don't know, run away. This is how society nowadays works. 95% of all people, they are afraid of learning new things, because they are basically afraid of admitting of being wrong and change their opinion, because they were wrong. Because you can't be wrong in this society we have now today. It's too much pressure. You have to succeed. You have to be the best. You were trained in school all your life, every school, whatever education you ever made. The goal is you gonna be the best. You have to be the best. So admitting being wrong about something is something really bad in our society. And this is something really wrong, really bad. This is just strapping the boxes more tight around everyone's head and making people more scared about things they don't know, as you can see in the news about this stuff which is going on. People stay at home. They have to go to certain tests and stuff. And there is so much information about the whole thing. All the time, everywhere, all the time, new stuff from your own country and from the other countries and from the other side of the world where it's really bad, but we are now it's always the competition of who is better, who is first, who has the most money, power. But not knowledge. They won't give you this. They won't tell you. They are afraid. So, why things matter? If you get information which triggers in you this kind of emotions, which are basically just really strong electromagnetic impulses, which are probably then also strongly interpreted by your brain. So there is stuff happening, like in a physical way. You start to feel adrenaline and all these kind of things. That's measurable. It's really happening. So, does it just basically mean that in those things which really matter, there is this kind of how to put it, stored information in the information which reacts to the electronic and magnetic circuits in you, in your brain? It's triggering this kind of adrenaline or whatever stuff. And because if you feel bad, it's about fear, it's about surviving, it's about death. So they are intense. They are going probably quite much straight to the so-called reptilian brain, or I don't know, to the deep core of the brain, the one we use obviously the most, because the other brain is much bigger, but there is nothing happening. 95% of the people are scared to even use it. So, things which matter don't necessarily mean that they bring you down. But if you watch at this picture here, sorry, left hand draw, I'll put a new one here. It goes down. If you get heavy knowledge, if you get this kind of knowledge which triggers really intense reptilian brain reactions, fear, death, survival, and all these kind of things, they pull you down. You are down. Which is probably much more than just a saying. Like, if it has matter and it brings you down, that's probably the proof that it really does. Yeah, I was thinking a long time about that. I was supposed to make this video a long time ago. I was even thinking about writing some stuff down in order not to forget what I was about to say and all these kind of things, but I didn't. I made some screenshots. So that's what I was thinking about things which matter, or why things matter, because probably there is just matter to them which can bring you really down. Literally. Thanks for listening. I don't know if it did make any sense what I said. I have no idea. Remember, if you listen, I really suggest you to listen to Wallace Thornhill, even though, like, especially or not especially, how to put it, if he is not talking about the electric universe theory, like all the things what he says, they are like you really should give him an ear. Thank you.